Hi everybody, today we're going to take a look at Dynamo from M.A.S.K. This is from the Split Seconds series. This is from series 4. These came out long after the cartoon had finished, and they were the last nail in the coffin of M.A.S.K. And as such, with any final line of a toy series, they tend to be quite sought after and difficult to get. This one, however, is not too bad, but compared to some of the other vehicles in the line, they can be very, very pricey. So let's take a look at the box. This is the European box, and it doesn't mention Split Seconds on it at all. But we can see Dynamo, a M.A.S.K off-road vehicle, a stroke chopper and assault cart with 2 action figures. And those 2 action figures are both Bruce Sato, if you might remember him from Rhino. Includes two Bruce Sato action figures and a vehicle, ages 4 and up. As this is the European release, we've got the 6 language version, and just giving you a tour. There's not much to see. The back and front are the same. On this side we can see adventurous off-road vehicle converts to turbine chopper with Bruce Sato and assault cart with his computer image. That was the gimmick on the Split Seconds. You got the figure, and you got sort of a translucent version of the figure as well. On the side you can see there's the old lion mark. We don't see that too often these days. Rotating chopper blades. Seriously, that's an action feature. And on that side it's the same but in a different language. Now you may have noticed this is mint in sealed box, and it is absolutely pristine. And you know what? I'm not going to open this one. You can see there it's got tape seals on 3 sides for each one. Something I did notice though, this symbol here, this sticker, this isn't 80s, this is much later. We've got the CE, Charlie Wood Hertz, and the Note 3 with the sad onion. These were not around in the 80s. So I'm wondering if someone found some cases of these and sold them with the proper safety standards, but sold them in the 90s maybe? Not sure. So, like I say, this is mint in seal box, and I'm not going to show you the inside. However, I do happen to have another one of these, and this one isn't sealed, so you will get to see the inside. This is the same box, however this one's got a sticker over the top, and it says now converts into 2 assault vehicles. And it's the same on the other side, and you can just see the difference. Look how nice the one on the right is compared to the one on the left. This is beautiful, and it's staying that way. But I'll show you this one instead. So inside the box we get this nice poster. This is showing all the Split Seconds vehicles, and as you can see, what the gimmick was, they all separate into 2 different vehicles, and you got a sort of hologram driver to drive the alternate vehicle. Now some of these are extremely rare and expensive. Some of these, like Dynamo, are not. So let's just have a look at the bottom. It shows you all the different ones. So this one is Afterburner. This is a very sturdy looking dragster. And that one came with Dusty Hairs. Yeah. And next we have Detonator. And that one came with Jacques Lafleur. He was from Volcano. Then we have Dynamo with Bruce Sato. Skybolt came with Matt Tracker. Vandal, this came with Floyd Malloy from Vampire. Fire Force came with Julio Lopez from Firefly. Jackal, this one comes with Bruno Shepard from Stinger. Wolf Beast, which is one of the most sought after ones, came with, what does it say? Miles Mayhem. And finally Stiletto. This was Gloria Baker's first figure release. There was an original Shark prototype made for Series 1 that she was in the cartoon, but it never got released, so this was the only time we ever saw Gloria Baker, and she came with this Lamborghini called Stiletto, and that's probably the rarest one out of all of these. Certainly the most sought after. That, maybe Skybolt and Wolf Beast. On the back of this is the instructions, which seems not very cost effective to me, having a poster with instructions on the back. You'd think a nice cheap bit of paper with the instructions and a separate poster would have been more cost effective, but there you go. So this comes with the instructions for Dynamo, which, to be fair, it's a very simple toy and it doesn't need all these instructions. They're in multiple languages, which shows you why there's so much writing on there, but like I say, you really don't need them. This is good for the poster, and that's about it. So this is the Bruce Sato figure that we originally saw with Rhino. This is a remoulded body with, I think it's the same head sculpt. As you can see, this one's pretty worn. He's got a big bald patch on his head there, and a big scrape missing out of his arm. And the white on his legs is all discoloured and looks pretty nasty. Same on his gloves and his arms there. So that pretty much tells us this is all white plastic on the top half of his legs and his arms. This is his mask. This is called New Lifter. And this just pops over his head. As you can see on the top, it's got this great big hole on it. We do have to be a little careful with these because they are a little bit fragile and do have a habit of snapping on you. And the special power for this mask was to create his holographic double. So this is the same figure, only made of a translucent blue plastic. As you can see, this one's got a slight bit of discoloration on it, but he's not too bad. The colour of the blue really depends on the thickness of the plastic, so the body's a lot darker and the arms are quite pale. But the sculpt is identical to the other figure, and we even get the same mask, done also in translucent blue, and that'll just pop on his head. And that was the staple for all these split seconds figures. They would have the driver and then they would have a holographic copy to basically pilot the second part of the vehicle. So this is Dynamo. As you can see, it's a beach buggy. And something to note on these is the wheels don't really roll as well as the old vehicles did, and that's because they're all independent and they don't have an axle running through. We do get some nice shiny chrome. We don't have Goodyear on these, they do say M.A.S.K on that side. And we've got, this one says Turbo 2000, similar to the Pit Stop Catapult, but that one was Terra 2000. Got this very 80s looking design on the front, that's all printed onto the plastic. It's got a little seat belt, but this one doesn't go all the way around and attach anywhere, it's just a hard bit of plastic to hold them in place. On the back we've got this nice engine block, it's all made of shiny chrome. So what we can do is get the figure and sit him in there. Like I say, these don't have like the original seat belts, these are just sort of a little clip that holds them in place. And his masks fell off, so we just shot that back on. So there he is in the Dune buggy, and to be quite honest, this is the best mode this has. It's not the greatest of toys, it really isn't. When you compare it to Thunderhawk and Switchblade and all the fantastic M.A.S.K goodness we got in Series 1 and 2, and to some extent Series 3, this is garbage, quite frankly. So we'll just get rid of the figure and I'll show you how we convert this one. Very simple, we lift these little wings up and they just have a little peg there, and they are on a spring so they pop back like that. Then we slide this whole section up and click it in place, and that gives us the rotor blades for the helicopter. And we just unclip from the bottom, and that gives us this secondary vehicle. We'll just get rid of that for now. And the final thing to do is unpeg that, and you can see the little missile shot out there. That's actually supposed to stay in place underneath there, and when you want to pop the bomb you can just drop it out. So obviously if you're going to try and find a loose one you need to make sure that's present. So on the front now you can see the little M.A.S.K logos come to the front of the vehicle. And that's it basically. It's a little helicopter. I'll just stick him back in there. And to be quite honest, this is just terrible. It really is bad. Something you see a lot on the split seconds. They're really awful. And yet they're rare, so they're worth more money than the original vehicles, which are just leagues beyond something like this. So you've got this little helicopter. Nothing spectacular. So we're left with this. This is the little ground assault cart thing, and you can move these missiles around. You'll notice mine, the pegs are snapping off on these. And what you can do with these is it's meant to fit the holographic driver, and you plug his feet into there just very carefully because it'll probably snap on me. And he sits on there, and that's it. It's just awful. It's a little go-kart that doesn't roll very well, and it's just downright rubbish, quite frankly. It does have one more mode, if I can just get that out there. What you can do is unpeg it. For some reason this doesn't want to come off. I'll just take that one off instead, and that would go onto there. So then what you can do with these pieces is you can move these little bits in and attach it to the figure like a little sort of hovering device. Obviously we get two of these. So you can put one on the regular figure as well. Really aren't very interesting, just a bit of an afterthought I think on these. So we've got two little sort of hovering Bruce Satos with little wheelie jetpack things. So there you go, that's Bruce Sato and his clone with the new lifter masks and Dynamo from the Split Second series. Like I say, it's an expensive series to be collecting, and if you're new to M.A.S.K, I would leave it for now. Just go for the series 1 and 2 figures, like Switchblade and Thunderhawk and all the greatness that is the early M.A.S.K stuff. Leave these ones for when you're trying to complete the collection, really. Out of all the Split Seconds, this one is by far the cheapest. I actually got the mint in sealed box one for £20, and there's not a chance you're going to get some of the later Split Seconds for that price, like Stiletto and Thunderbolt. You're talking well over £100 just for an open one. Dread to think what they would cost mint in sealed box. So there you go. This has been Luke with Dynamo from M.A.S.K and Bruce Sato. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.